What's up guys, I'm back with another video. So let's continue with our Golang tutorial series. This is the episode 2 and in this episode we are going to learn about the data types and variables in Go. So let's get into it. So here we are on my screen. So for this tutorial I have created another folder with the name 02 vars. Even you created in your root directory, which is Go tutorial or whatever you have named it. So let's continue. So I have created a main.go file inside the vars folder and I've just typed in some code. I've said that this is the main package and imported the fmt package and defined the main function, which we have learned in the first episode. Over here we have defined the main function, imported the fmt package and defined this as the main package. So we have just done the same thing over here, and I'll be covering what packages are in a later video. So you can see I've typed in something in this file. So these are called comments. Comments are not compiled by the compiler. They are just for your help and they help you read the code better. So people would say that don't use comments. Comments are not used that much in programming, but no, they are just memes. You're like, just ignore memes as like you ignore every other meme and use comments. I would suggest that. So let's start. In Golang, comments are declared with 2 slashes. So this is a comment, this is a comment. Comments are even declared with a slash asterisk, and you can type anything between this and you can end it on whichever line you want after that. So everything between these two will be a comment, but in our case we don't need this one. We are fine with the 2 slashes. So these are the data types in Golang. There's a string, bool means boolean, integer, unsigned integer, byte, rune. Byte and rune are just aliases for unsigned integer 8 and integer 32. I'll tell you what they are in a moment. Float and complex. So let's go from top to bottom. So let's start with string. What a string is. Strings are basically anything in the text format. In Golang we write strings between double inverted commas. So this will be a string like hello 1 2 3. This is a string. So string is pretty simple to understand. So we'll just go to bool. So what is bool? Bool means boolean. Boolean will have two values, either true or false, 1 or 0. So 1 meaning true and 0 meaning false. So it can have the values true or false. Yeah, now we move on to integer. What an integer is? Integer is basically any number. It may be negative or positive. And what int 8, int 16, int 32, int 64 are, they are basically the size of the integer. Normally we use the int keyword and not really look into like int 8, int 16, but they are used. They are used when you go to higher levels, they'll be used. Then we have unsigned integer. Unsigned integer basically means that the integers will start from 0 and go towards the positive side. There would not be any negative integers in an unsigned integer. So basically an integer is a signed integer and uint is an unsigned integer. Then we have byte. What a byte is? Byte is an alias for uint 8, this one. And then we have rune. What a rune is? It's an alias for int 32, which is over here. And then we have float. What a float is? It's basically a decimal point number. Any number with a decimal point is a float. Let's move on to complex. What a complex is? Complex is basically any scientific equation. That's a complex. Pretty simple to understand. Yeah, let's see how a variable is defined. A variable can be of any data type from these, of course. Yeah. So let's see how variables are defined in Golang. So we can use the keyword var to define a variable. Var. Now let's name name the variable. So we can name a variable anything. Only the thing is that a variable cannot start with a number, but it can surely end with a number. A variable can contain underscores and letters, small or capital, that doesn't matter. So we'll name it name over here in our case. And now we have to tell Golang what the data type is. As Golang is a statically typed language, you need to explicitly tell Golang what data type the variable is going to be. So in our case it will be string, because names are strings. So we'll just put in string equals, and now we can define a variable. For example, we can put in Aadeetya over here. So yeah, Aadeetya. Now Golang is showing this squiggly line over here. That's because we have declared the variable name, but we haven't used it in our code. So you need to use all the variables you define in Golang, or else Golang will throw an error. So just keep that in mind. So now let's print name and see what it is. So fmt.println name. Yeah, and I'll save the code. cd into 0 to vars, and let's run go run main.go. I've put in two. Okay, I've put in 2 dots. Let's just change the name. I've put in 2 dots by mistake, so I'll just remove one of them. Yeah, now it's fixed. So I used the F2 key if you don't know, and I'll press enter, and here it prints Aadeetya. So it has printed our variable name. So let's try defining another variable. Let's try defining age. Age int equals 16, and let's print it. fmt.println age, and let's see, go run. Yeah, and it prints 16. So it's that simple. So there's one more way to define variables in Golang. Let's see how they are. So we'll just comment them out and see how to define them. It's a lot simpler than this. The syntax is a lot smaller. Just type in the name of your variable colon equal to, you need to put the colon, or else it won't work, it will throw an error. So colon equal. So now you need to define the variable. So now we'll put in Aadeetya over here, and now it will infer the data type, and you don't need to explicitly define what the data type is. We'll do the same with our age. So it will be 16, and let's print it and see what it prints. Aadeetya and 16. So it did what it is supposed to do. So now let's see what the data type actually is. So rather than writing println, we'll just use fmt.printf and put in a mod, a capital T for the type. Then in the second argument, pass the variable you want the data type for. So in our case it will be name, and we'll do one more, fmt.printf mod t and age. So let's see what the data type of our variables is. So it's a string and an int, but why is it coming together? Yeah, because we have not put any spaces. So let's just put \n to get it on a new line. So what is \n? So what is \n? \n is a escape sequence, and I'll be talking about escape sequences in the coming videos. It's a really interesting topic. I don't know, I just like them. Now why there's an error? Okay, I've put it out. You need to put it inside the double inverted commas. So I'll just run it once again, and now it shows string int. Okay, so now let's try it out with a float. Or let's see, maybe we can do like a number, maybe number, and let's see, like 36.6, and get the type of so let's get the type of a number, and we'll put a /n over here, save it, and let's run it. So it's a float 64. Oh, why is it a float 64 and why not a float 32? So by default, Golang considers every float as float 64. But if you want to give the data type as float 32, then you'll have to define it explicitly as we were doing it. The syntax for it is var number float 32 equals 36.6. Now let's see the data type. Oh, so now it's float 32. So yeah, that's what you need to keep in mind. So that was it for this video. Try tinkering around with all the other data types and see if you are able to use them. If not, just ask me in the comments and I'll do my best to answer all of them. So that was it for this video, and I'll catch you in the next one.